Welcome in, everybody, to Leading Off right here on Fantasy Pros. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia. That, of course, is big, sexy Dan Harris. And it's you, and we're talking all things baseball today, as we always are. It's a beautiful, fun Friday. It's the summertime. We got baseball. We got DFS. We got a lot to talk about. And Danny boy, the Mets lead is slowly shrinking, which means that we can turn our attention to football sooner than later, you and I. But in all seriousness, again, another eventful night in Major League Baseball, and certainly in the local Little League scene as well, where Dan Harris not only runs the league, but also the concession stand. So hopefully everything's going okay for you this morning, Big D.
Yeah, everything's fine. Little hiccup. I do not have the reviews. I know today was supposed to be the read the reviews day. I forgot about a Little League board meeting where I'm a very important member, so I didn't get to it last night. Everything is fine. We'll do it on Monday. But yeah, from a real fan standpoint, watching the Mets right now is a little torturous. From a fantasy baseball standpoint, I don't know, man. Austin Riley's kicking some butt. Always makes me feel really good. Austin Riley and only Austin Riley. So got a lot of interesting fantasy nuggets going on right now. But from a real baseball standpoint, I'm dead inside.
I have to say, if you were dead inside, nothing could possibly revive you more than the fantastic work done by our very own Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. This morning I woke up, checked the Slack, I saw the magazine cover, People's Sexiest Man Alive. I've tweeted it out. If you haven't seen it already, run to Joe Pisapia 17 on Twitter and check it out, please. It's also Dan's new avatar. It's new profile pic on Twitter as well. This is why you're in Discord, for the madness, for the hilarity. It's beautiful work. I just want to just say thank you to everybody. You've made this such a special time in our lives this year, doing silly things like that. That is some, let me tell you, that is, I don't know what, like at least 30 minutes of Photoshop work that went into that thing. I mean, that's some serious stuff to give you all of the abs that you have in that photo. That's pretty substantial.
To be clear, that's not Photoshopped. Okay, that part is actually obviously found a picture from my earlier days on the internet
2 years ago.
Yes, very recent, of my absolutely ripped physique. What you see on YouTube, which is that I look like a lollipop with just a very skinny and a giant head, it's camera work. Realistically, my profile picture is what I look like in real life. So thank you to who did it again on Discord. God, I always forget. Mr. Buster, I think.
I thought it was Mr. Buster. Yeah,
Mr. Buster. Yeah.
So full credit was Mr. Buster. Brilliant stuff, man. And it's our pleasure to have you as part of the show. Want to start on a sad note, and then we'll bring it around to a good note too. Yep. Yesterday, baseball lost another legend, J.R. Richard. And if you don't know who J.R. Richard was, go back and watch some highlights, because this is one of the most intimidating pitchers you'll ever see in Major League Baseball. A short career, but an impressive one for the Astros. People remember just him dominating the late 70s, early 80s, and then right in 1980, I believe it was, where he had the stroke, and then he was just obviously never the same after that, unfortunately. But what a career he had. He was the first Astros pitcher with 300 strikeouts in a season with 303, and then he broke his own record the next year with 313. Yep. Pretty impressive right there. He had a 3.15 career ERA, 76 complete games, and again, you talk about mound presence. Boy, oh boy, you had him and Nolan Ryan in the same rotation. What a stunning opportunity that would have been. And had he stayed healthy, perhaps they would have had the title earlier with that pitching staff. It's very possible. So obviously, condolences to him and his family. A great pitcher in Major League Baseball history and a great pitcher in Astros history as well. The good news is one of our tough guys is still around. Gary Cohn, who is a very avid listener of the show. He wrote me an email yesterday. He said, "I know you guys appreciate the tough guys who play when hurt, not injured. So I'll share this to you guys for free to use." Yesterday, Wednesday, I was scheduled for a total hip replacement at 2 p.m.
Yikes.
And I calmed my nerves by listening to yours and Dan's great leading off show. The surgery went well. I am now home and released from the hospital, and I celebrated by listening to the Running Back podcast. So just to let you guys know, I'm having a great time. And yes, I watched Cal Ripken when he was living in Baltimore, a few blocks from Camden Yards, and he gets irritated when players opt out when they're a little sore. There you go. That's all the best from Gary Cohn. Mad Dog, your loyal listener. So, Gary,
nice.
Best to you. Isn't that nice? Everyone, making us emails. We are the perfect thing right before surgery. We've learned this about our show.
Yes.
We're like anesthesia.
It's very, I don't know how to take that. This is what I really want to do. I want to listen to these guys because I'm about to, fall asleep. So
go under the knife.
Make sure.
Yeah.
right? Let me make sure. Also, it's very bizarre that everybody celebrates the tough guys when I'm literally the least tough human being that's ever walked the face of the earth. So
I don't know. You're here with me every day. That's got to count for something.
It's true. It's fair.
Mental toughness counts.
Mental toughness, I'm right there. I'm there. I'm like Olympic gold medalist in mental toughness. Physical toughness, I got cut.
By the way, you're the editor-in-chief, so I need a clarification on this.
Sure.
We had obviously Freddie Peralta this year, who's been fantastic. Then we had Willie Peralta. And now we've got another Peralta for the Yankees tonight. So the other Peralta is,
Wandy? Is it
Yes,
Wandy?
Wandy Peralta. So is the plural Peraltas or is it Peraltai? What are we doing here?
I think you can go with Peraltas. I always like to go with the I when it ends with the S, like octopi. That's where I think it, right? I think you go with the Peraltas. I think we go with Peraltas.
I just want a clarification on that from you. All right, 3 up. Daniel Lynch with 7 in a win over the White Sox, but Jose Abreu did go yard.
The worst.
That's got to be the worst. You see that line, you're like, Danny Duffy, no Joe home run. No, back on the board, baby.
That was a good call.
Framber Valdez strikes out 7 in a loss to the Twins. So don't ask me how that happened. Joey Gallo hits 2 doubles, 3-run homer in a victory. Joey Gallo looks like he likes pinstripes for sure.
Did you see that home run, by the way? Did you see that home run?
Yeah, he did.
You pop up. That is a home run in Yankee Stadium.
I mean, it's a wiffle ball field. I've said it's a wiffle ball field for years.
I mean, he hit it straight in the air, such that when you see him watching it, he's just looking straight up in the air. Just a home run.
It's great. Mammoth. The Mammoth is a colossal blast.
Yeah, right.
3 down, Alex Reyes. Alex Reyes. Boy, oh boy. Not perfect anymore, are we? Walked 4 guys. Epic meltdown against the Braves. Hit a guy. Walked 4. Look, this was always the thing with Alex Reyes because he's always been one of these guys who control has been elusive for him in his career. And then, look, he had a good run there, and then, obviously, this is not good. Hopefully, he doesn't go full Rick Ankiel here, and we lose it completely. Juan Soto dealing with knee pain. Great, because that's all the Nationals need. Right. And Dave Roberts says Clayton Kershaw's return sometime in September. Sometime in September. Like, the leaves are going to change sometime in September. My kids are going to go back to school sometime in September. Dan, how do you feel about this?
All 3 of our downs, I'm extremely bothered by it. Like, more so than usually. Usually the downs, I'm like, all right, whatever. Reyes, you're right. Like, you had your bold prediction that he wouldn't blow a save. A bold prediction, whatever.
It was fun, yeah.
No, I'm not blaming you in any way. Yeah. What I mean is just...
And immediately after he sucked. I just put that.
Well, he struggled with his control all year. My worry with him is one of these outings is the type of outing that can completely derail a season. It might not. I'm not saying it would. I'm not getting rid of Alex Reyes, and especially with the Cards slowly sinking out of contention. But you worry, right? All of a sudden when you're like, wow, I can't know. I remember watching him a game against the Mets where he basically threw 10 or 11 straight balls, just had no idea where he was going, and then he found it. When you have a meltdown like this, it threatens a little bit the rest of the season, so I'm concerned about that. With Soto, it was weird because he played the whole game. It was the last inning, and he scored, and then he's dealing with knee pain, and the Nationals are completely out of it, obviously, so they have no reason to push him. So who knows what's going to be? Maybe he'll be in the lineup tonight. Maybe he'll be on the IL. And Kershaw, maybe in September, I don't know. Do you sell him for whatever you could get right now in a fantasy? I mean, your fantasy league is going to be over in 2 weeks. But if you play all the way through,
but yes,
what do you do? I guess you see if somebody is in great shape and is willing to take the risk. But there's nothing to be optimistic about with that either. So
yeah, sometime in September.
All bad. Everything's terrible.
Dan, when do your allergies hit? Sometime in September.
That's just not. I don't. None of it is
good. Nice timetable, Dave Roberts. Way to help everybody.
Yeah.
Let's get to some good news. Yesterday, in case you missed the program, which I know you haven't, but if you did, we talked about Bryce Harper for MVP at 30-1. Today, I got up this morning just out of curiosity to see if the ball had moved, and it has. Mm-hmm. The new number is 18-1, Dan Harris. Yep. Boy, that escalated quickly, didn't it? That really chopped in half quite a bit, my friend.
That's why I placed it as we were on the podcast. Had to make sure I got in ahead of the game. Yeah, I mean, look, you look right now. I think the Phillies are now, whoever, Fangraphs postseason odds are the favorite to win the division, as they should be. I mean, the Mets without DeGrom, without any offense, with a very difficult schedule coming up. They've got 13 straight games against the Dodgers and the Giants coming in a stretch coming up eventually. The Phillies should be the favorite. The Braves are still making noise. Good for them. So if they win that division, and if Harper continues on anything close to what he has been doing since the All-Star break, he's going to win at 18-1. I still like sprinkling on it, and I think that if you can get it, I would.
That was the next question, because now the question is, do we go to 20?
Yeah.
For the 20, get you 360 if he wins. Because here's the thing: if the Phillies sweep the Mets this weekend, right? Give me that number on Monday in your head. What it becomes? It's 18-1 now. Let's say the Phillies
7-1.
I think it's like 7. Right?
Assuming that he has if he has a huge season, a huge series. Imagine, right? It's one of these like 4-homer, 3 steal,
even 2 homers. I think will do it. 2 homers in a 3-game series.
He might drop to 5-1. But I'm going to put it as if they sweep. Yeah, but you know what's going to happen, right? The Mets just looked completely embarrassed. The Phillies are coming off this dominant thing, and watch because baseball. Watch the Mets somehow sweep the Phillies and then whatever. But it's a look if you can do it. I still at 18-1, still do it because when you mentioned it, Joe, and I saw like there was an article on Mike Petriello or whoever wrote the article.
It was a good piece. Yeah.
It was a good piece. It was a very good piece on it. That's a great bet. And even now, it really should be. So if you can,
and he didn't even talk about it as a wager, of course, but it's something that I'm reading this piece going, yeah. Well, what's the number? Oh, wow. And this is the good part about me waking up really early in the morning is I have extra time to do these kind of things for everybody else. I'm here for you all. I'm the giver. Speaking of the giving tree, if you're playing in Dynasty Leagues, it looks like Hunter Green is going to be giving you some nice innings potentially next year. The number 53 prospect in all baseball. 10 strikeouts yesterday, 6 1/3 in AAA Louisville. This is one of the brighter young pitching prospects in baseball. He's had a nice ascent here. He was dominant in AA, moved up to AAA. Some adjustments here and there, but it's his 3rd double-digit K game of the season, which is tough when you're only throwing 5 innings most nights. But this is definitely, I think the Reds are an interesting team, just not even from a wagering standpoint, but from a fantasy standpoint, because next year if Castillo can kind of pick up where he left off here in the second half, and you could possibly add in a guy like Green and then maybe a guy like Lodolo later in the year, all of a sudden that Cincinnati rotation is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's really been what's held them back. Their offense, especially with Castellanos, has been solid. Eugenio Suarez, as much as he's having a down year, still hitting for power. They've been doing all this without Mike Moustakas and stuff like that. You give them a bona fide rotation. And I think everybody now is probably at the point where they're willing to completely write off Luis Castillo's bad early start. They can really make some noise, especially in a division that doesn't look like it's going to be crazy, crazy strong going forward. It's not like the Brewers are this powerhouse organization necessarily right now. So, yeah, I agree with you. Long term, looks good.
All right, let's continue on here with something that looks terrible, which is a little bit of stat nuggets for you. 2021's most underperforming offenses. And it's interesting because the teams at the top of this list are both in New York. The New York Yankees and the New York Mets. Mm-hmm. The two runs that are offenses that have been the most underwhelming this year. And ironically so, then after them, it's funny because you get Texas, which we kind of understand why.
Sure.
The Royals and the Minnesota Twins, who have had a terrible season, right? Yet here you are, you've got the Mets hanging on by a thread at first place, the Yankees in the race still somehow, despite all this. This is a fascinating stat, so I dug a little deeper. When the ball is not contacted, the Mets are baseball's 5th best offense, which means to me they are very athletic. They can steal bases, they go from first to third. They can do a lot of things. When the ball is contacted, the Mets are the 5th worst offense in baseball. So really, if you're the Mets, just go back to the old Oakland days. Just draw some walks. Where's Kevin Youkilis? Maybe we can get him off the shelf somewhere, dust him off, and get him in a Mets lineup. But this is kind of an interesting thing here. I thought this was one of the most bizarre stats I had ever seen. And then from a fantasy standpoint, you look at the guys that you have, shares of the Dominic Smiths. I don't want to say Alonso because he's been good lately, but, Michael Conforto's season, I think you go through the rest of the guys in this lineup.
I mean, Lindor McNeil, obviously had a
Lindor
poor season
underwhelming.
When he was healthy. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a stunning, odd stat. Isn't that weird to you?
That is. I don't think I was like, wait, what do you mean when the ball isn't hit? What are we, but yeah.
The ball is not contacted.
Whatever, man. I mean, it's very, the Mets were never as good as what their record. I mean, their run differential. The Marlins had a much better run differential than they did. They had basically an even run differential. The Mets. Now it's low without DeGrom to be there, as the guy here, like, okay, no matter what, we know we're not going to go into the skid because this guy's going to go out there and dominate. They're just a very mediocre team. The NL East is going to be fun to watch, frankly, from just an objective standpoint, because you've got three really kind of mediocre teams battling it out for first place. But yeah, realistically, the fantasy options on that team are few and far between. It's basically Alonso. You've got Baez, but Dom Smith, Michael Conforto, until Lindor comes back, it's really bereft of talent at this moment.
It is. All right, let's get to some standouts. Trevor Story, 2 dingers yesterday, so I guess he's fine staying at home in Colorado. Tariq Skubal, 5 scoreless innings, 4 Ks against the Red Sox. Dylan Bundy, 6 1/3 shutout innings against the Rangers, but still, Dylan Bundy.
Oh.
Merrill Kelly, 8 shutout innings against the Giants, and Ross Stripling, and I had a bad feeling last night that Ross Stripling was going to be good Ross Stripling, and he was. 6 shutout innings, 6 Ks against the Guardians of Cleveland. The duds, Aaron Nola, 5 runs. Boy, oh boy, talk about Jekyll and Hyde. I'm done with him. I've got him as a keeper at $33, I think. I can't do that next year. Nope. Dropping him back.
In a mixed league?
It's a 16-team league. The escalator is going to kick in for $5. It's going to be $38. He ain't worth $38. A 4.49 ERA for $38.
It's been poor.
No, poor. Very poor. Alex Wood, 4 innings, 4 runs, 5 Ks against the D-backs. We mentioned Reyes, but how about Javi Baez? If it wasn't for Reyes, Baez would have made the top of the downs. But 0 for 5, 5 Ks. So if memory serves, you got the hat trick, you got the golden sombrero. What's the 5?
I think it's the platinum sombrero is what it's called.
That's not good. That's terrible.
I didn't make it up. I didn't make it up. I think
no
that's
good.
what it is.
I want to
Somebody look it up
today.
Somebody look it up. Tell me
Let's rename what 5 Ks is.
Yeah, I think that's right. I could be wrong. I don't remember.
That's like it's like you have a funny thing with the hat trick, a funny thing with the golden sombrero, and then you stop being creative and you just call it another color sombrero. That's stupid. That's
right.
Lazy.
By the way, is this the dumbest ups and downs that we've ever had? I mean, you think about our ups, right? Trevor Story, fine. He's had a bad season, but let's go to, Tariq Skubal, who basically had like a 5.50 ERA, completely shutting down the Red Sox. Oh, Dylan Bundy, a pitcher that's not usable anywhere, shutting down the Rangers. Merrill Kelly, who's been stealthy good, but still shutting down a red-hot Giants team. Ross Stripling, who you never know what you're going to get, shutting down the Indians. And then your doubts, Aaron Nola, great, like a pretty reliable pitcher. Alex Wood, Alex Reyes, Javi Baez, this is like opposite day. This doesn't make any sense, but this is what, August baseball is.
The tequila worm is what Wonky Penguin suggests, but I'm open to other suggestions here. It's not bad.
I would like to make Wonky Penguin a co-host of this podcast. Can you do that? Do I have the authority? I guess I do have the authority.
I guess you do.
I
don't know what you got. Mike Mayer, actually. Maybe proving his worth after all these years. Where is it? According to Google, 5 strikeouts can also be called the Olympic rings. Okay, all right, that's better. That's better. The platinum sombrero is just lame.
Olympics are good. Olympics are good. I feel like you've got to, I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't. We gotta do better. Let's be better. Okay. News and notes: Luis Robert won't return this weekend, but the White Sox will make a decision on Sunday, sometime in September. Eloy Jimenez will play the outfield on Friday. Light a candle in church, everybody. Just go ahead and say a prayer, voodoo dolls, whatever things you got there to hopefully he'll be okay. Nick Castellanos returns from the IL. Juan Soto, again, that knee thing, keep an eye on that, but this is crushing because, he had a really good stretch there right after the All-Star break. Then they traded the whole team, and now he's hurt. Just terrible. Gary Sanchez placed on the COVID-19 IL after a positive test.
Yeah, so that's 10 days. So.
Yeah, there you go, 10 days. The Cracker Jacks have topped 700 home runs. Very good. Congratulations. A new watermark. Some guy named Joe, tough guy Joe, moves up to second place with 19 dingers from Jose Abreu.
Really well done, by the way. Really well done. I like the Abreu call in theory, but in the back of my mind, I was thinking that Lynch, who we didn't really talk about, you mentioned at the top of the show, has been really good since being recalled. And he was, so even with the Abreu, I was like, I don't really feel it. I looked at the box score. I did see, because I get notified of every home run. That's the worst when I see it. Jose Abreu solo. And I was like, oh, no.
Well, if it made you feel better, my other one was Jordan Alvarez yesterday. I was going back and forth. So he went yard two. Either way, it was coming.
It makes me,
Hell was coming with me.
You're too good at this. What do you want?
Well, I'm not at the top yet, so don't jinx me. Stop it. All right, Pygo, 18th home run. Derek from Texas, 16. Useless Panic got to 15. They all called Jordan Alvarez. Mike Mayer and the Clown Prince Join Dinger Dan at 14. You got a little bit more company. Look, Dan, I don't care if you win or lose this damn thing, but you can't lose to Mayor.
You should have seen my reaction when Mayor texted me to be like, "Hey, by the way, Dan, look where I am." No, it's terrible. It's one I have like 70 things that would count as the most embarrassing thing that any other human on earth has experienced. This would probably top them all if I allow Mayor to surpass me. Mayor was like buried. He's on a little bit of a heater. I'm cold as ice. Got to get on it this weekend, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Also, Florange Sox and Moonshine Runners both have 3 home runs in 4 days. Hot streaks. Hot streaks are good.
Ooh, all right.
Gordon Liddy's up at the top with 20. Randy's at 20. Tough guy Joey P at 19, separated from the Wonky Penguin. And getting close there. I want to be able to get to that 20. 20, I think, is a good number. Feel good about 20. That's what I'm looking for. We'll have our home run calls in a little bit, but before we do, want to remind everybody, go to manscaped.com, get that Lawnmower 4.0, get that performance package. The performance package also has the lawnmower, the ball deodorant, the crop preserver, the weed whacker for the nose hair, the ear hair, and I don't know, any other kind of hair that you might have. It's all there. Go to manscaped.com, use that code leading off, 20% off and free shipping. It all can be yours. And the price is right, baby. Just use that code leading off and makes things so much better. Dan Harris, a lot of games to get to tonight on the DFS slate.
Yes,
14 games we've got here. The good chalk is Houston, once again. Zach Greinke's at 8.596. Don't love him, but the rest of the lineup I do like. Corbin Burns, it burns, is at 11K on FanDuel, 10K on DK. Chris Bassett, good matchup for him at 9.8. And then if you want to throw, I don't know, Wainwright's like a tweener. He's 9.5 on DK. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Burns, Bassett, Wainwright, Greinke? You go with the matchup of Bassett, you go with the K upside of Burns, which is obviously going to be relevant tonight. What do you think?
I'm probably going with Burns. I'm not overwhelmed by it. I just, the Giants are just this offense that scares me, even though when you go through their lineup one by one, you're like, that guy doesn't scare me. That as a whole, their whole is greater than the sum of their parts. But Burns, at this point, he's just by far the safest guy in the slate. I rarely go with Greinke just because I think Greinke is just as likely to give you, even against the Twins, to give you like a 5-inning, 4-run, 1 strikeout start as he is to go 9 in a game. I just don't like to go there. I will go with the quote unquote stud pitcher. I don't care. Wainwright would actually be my second choice pitching at home against the Royals team that I'm sure will still be without Benintendi. Just not a strong lineup. But if I'm going to choose, I am going to go with Burns. It's just, the upside is immense always.
Patrick Sandoval, 8.3 on DK, 8.8 on FanDuel. He's got some GPP appeal tonight for me. The stacks, Oakland, Cincinnati, Philadelphia. That's where I'm looking at. I think those are the best 3 offenses. And then you got a bunch of pick-a-side matchups. Now, Marcus Stroman versus Kyle Gibson. I throw my hands up on that one. I want nothing to do with this one. Talk about 4 outcomes. Nate Eovaldi and Alek Manoah. Eovaldi coming off one of his less spectacular outings. Is he getting tired? I don't know. Alek Manoah's pitched pretty well. This is another one that's got a lot of options and ways he can go. And then he got Sandy Alcantara in Colorado against Herman Marquez, which is kind of tough too. So do you have any love for these dart throws on these 6 pitchers?
Not really. I mean, if I have to go with one over the others, it probably would be Manoah. I feel like the Red Sox right now they're a little iffy, although, in Toronto, of course, better than Buffalo, but in Toronto is never a great place to be. But right now, I like the way Manoah's been throwing. If I have to go with another one, I might go with Stroman because I just feel like this is the type of game that Stroman is basically like, okay, need the huge start. He kind of thrives on the pressure. You see him sort of getting into it. So I might go with Stroman, which is probably somebody who's I don't think is going to be particularly rostered right now, just given everything with the Mets. He's not a huge strikeout guy, but I think he could give you a lot of innings tonight and really step up with a big performance. So if I've got to go somewhere with any of these games, it might be Manoah for the strikeout upside. And again, Stroman, just because I could see a pretty strong start here in a game that the Mets absolutely have to get.
Manoah's intriguing. A scary moment yesterday when Vlad Guerrero Jr. got hit on the hand, too. We didn't really talk about that. He stayed in the game, but if he's not in the lineup today, I wouldn't touch Manoah. I just want to throw that out there. That's a big variable for me. We take him out of the lineup. Not that it's not a good lineup. I'm not trying to poo-poo the Springers and Bichettes and Simeons, but Vladdy's the straw that stirs that drink. Let's be honest. So just be careful and mindful of that. On FanDuel, your lineup builders tonight: Travis Jankowski, 2.3. Aledmus Diaz 2.8, Joe Adell still pretty much a free square there at 2.3, and Will Myers at 2.4. He's got a good matchup there. Also on DK, Jankowski 2.5, Kyle Tucker 3.7, Rowdy Tellez. All my Rowdy Tellez friends are coming over tonight, 3.2, and Joe Adell 2K. It's time to call our shot for the weekend. Right. And of course, I'm sticking with the theme. You know how I love a good theme, Dan. I love this. So, come over my house. We're going to have theme parties someday. Harper for the weekend. Let's go. I want this Bryce Harper. I want to come back here Monday, and I want to see it be 6-1. And oh, baby, if it's 6-1 by the time I come back, you might see me put 100 spot on that bad boy. That's what I want. I want all the Bryce Harper home runs. I can't believe I'm dogging my own team, but this is the way I look at it. If the Mets lose, at least I can make money. And I think that's the saving grace in all of this, because God knows in my lifetime I've spent enough money on that team. Your thoughts and your home run call for the weekend.
I do like the call for sure. Obviously, let's go all in here. Let's back up our MVP call, and again in that stadium against a mediocre pitching staff. I'm totally fine with it. I'm going to Yankee Stadium, and I'm going with Aaron Judge against the Mariners right now. Judge has been a little cold. Cold. He just hasn't gotten deep that much. I think he gets back on track right now. Yankees are playing well, but I do think he's going to get back on track here. At least one bomb, hopefully more, since I can stay ahead of Mayer. But that's my weekend home run calls, Aaron Judge.
Is Aaron Judge the body that your face is on, or is it Giancarlo Stanton? I wasn't sure who that was.
My body. I don't understand. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Right. No, nothing.
8-pack.
12-pack.
12-pack. Maybe a 12-pack. By the way, next year I'm going to make a proposal, Joe. I think that Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks and we should start a little pool. Okay. Ooh. Everybody put in like $1 or something like that. And every night we should kibbutz in Discord, and we should choose one home run call and place a wager on it. Like a plus, home run calls every night or what?
Are you starting 400? Your own like Fantasy Pros
It'll
Discord
be the Fantasy Pros Discord home run fund.
Home run fun with Dan Harris.
What do you think?
I love it. And of course, Dan Harris gets 3% because he wants to wet his beak.
What do you want? I mean, you take a little taste. It's fine. No big deal, whatever. No, as I will probably contribute 0 correct home run calls, I will take none of the actual profits just for our Discord.
Am I allowed to put up Mr. Buster's comment, or is that not family friendly?
I don't even see Mr. Buster's comment, but I will.
It's yeah,
that's fine. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so apparently the body is a random baseball player or random male stripper in a baseball player pants, and that random male stripper is Dan Harris.
It's Dan Harris. Like, we just happened to get lucky enough to have picked one of me. I don't know. Mr. Buster, it's magic. But I was like, wow, I can't believe you found that. I tried to bury it on the internet, but there it is.
Still there. All right, so enjoy the weekend of baseball, everybody. We'll be back Monday. We'll have a recap of the weekend. Again, next week, we're also going to have the reviews read. So if you haven't already, go to fantasypros.com/MLB contest, drop your reviews, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And our merch is out, fantasypros.com/shop. You know, the leading off merch. Order it this weekend. That's what you want to do. And I'm pissed because I ordered something for my daughter for her birthday, and Walmart says it's delivered, and there's no box. There's nothing outside. So either someone stole it, or I'm going to have to go calling and yelling at somebody. I don't know, but something's going to go down.
By the way, next week, as everybody should be aware, is going to be Joey P's last week on leading off, right, Joe? I'm leading, not at the company. I will tell him in private. I will tell him in private. Last week I'm leading off. Look, guys, Joe hosts an oddly large number of podcasts that requires him to devote a ton of time to it. We are not abandoning you. Okay. We are going to, there's still, I promise, we are leading off, still going to be here every day, certainly through August, even if Joe is not there every day through August. September, we might take it down a little bit to make more like 3 times a week or something like that, but we'll figure it out. But there is Joe's last week. So come celebrate all that is Joe.
It's a festival of friendship. That's what we're going to do.
Next week. And then you will see kind of a rotating group of people coming on. Mayor will be here. Tumo will be here. We might have some special guests coming on as well. So don't worry about it. But next week, make sure you tune into every episode to give Joe the proper send-off. And Mr. Buster, if you want to do something special in Discord on Photoshop
more special than putting me together with Megan Fox. I mean,
it was very...
like, of all the people he could have put me with, I went, well, all right then. Things are looking up. That's actually why I'm going on vacation. Megan and I are going to the south of France together for a few weeks before football season starts. That's actually
now you will still make your home run calls in Discord.
Oh
right?
yeah, I'll get onto the Discord channel and so. Are you kidding me? You think I'm gonna lose this after all this work I put in? I mean, of course, if I'm ahead when I stop doing the shows, I'm just gonna pretend like I won.
That's not
and
how
I'm gonna
works.
walk away like George
Not
Costanza. I'm gonna leave on a high note. It's absolutely how it works. It's my contest. I made the contest up. Now you're telling me how it works? First, Mike Mayer saying Pete Alonso home runs don't count because I call them. Then you tell me I can't leave on a high note?
Yeah.
I don't like
so
this.
I will. The one thing I will say is that we will do a special episode if Bryce Harper wins the MVP. We will come back after the season and just do an impromptu leading off episode to celebrate the dollar bills, y'all. So that's what we'll do. So
some of these hilarious comments here.
Yeah,
this is why you gotta be subscribing to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is great stuff. Don't worry, I'm gonna be around still. I'm still talking to everybody and all the things. It's just Fantasy Fest is coming up for the football. There's a lot going on the football side. Everybody knows this is that prime season, so we want to make sure we prepare everybody. But don't worry, we're not going to leave you. We're not going to abandon you like a lot of other places do. We're still going to be here. So don't worry.
Also, I do want to give a shout out since we're here with our prime listeners, obviously. So the original leading off, as you guys know, or some of you know, don't angry walk off the show.
I will I'll punch myself if I angry walk off the show.
I will say, I mean, hopefully most of you guys follow me on Twitter, Dan Harris 80. But the original leading off was an overnight show where I would record it every night at like 1 a.m. or whatever, produce it, 15-minute show, just me talking, making stupid jokes. Tuma was producing it. It's basically leading off, the old school leading off right now for football that we just started. It's another overnight show. I'm going to be doing it very similar to that. It's called The Kickoff. It'd be fantastic if you guys play fantasy football, enjoy me in any way, shape, or form, which probably is my mother and like 3 of her friends. Just subscribe to the podcast. Maybe leave a review when it gets started. We will be doing massive giveaways there as well, so don't worry about that. But again, The Kickoff, check my Twitter feed, Dan Harris 80. Thanks.
All right, so make sure you join us next week for the entire Festival of Friendship. Every day is going to be a new theme, because I love the themes. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For Big Sexy Dan Harris, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.